Many NBA players retire and live peaceful lives. Some become coaches, mentors, or businessmen, but not everyone stays on the right path. In this video, we'll talk about former NBA players who made very bad choices after retirement. These stories include crime, fraud, and even jail time. Let's take a deep look at how fame, fortune, and poor decisions destroyed their lives. Ruben Patterson, from defense specialist to registered offender. Ruben Patterson was once respected for his defensive skills on the court, but his off-court behavior quickly ruined his reputation. In 2000, he broke a man's jaw outside a nightclub in Cleveland over a car scratch, resulting in assault charges, a $1,000 fine, and community service. That same year, his nanny accused him of sexual assault. He entered a plea deal for attempted third-degree rape, serving 15 days in jail and registering as a sex offender. The troubles didn't stop there. In 2002, he was arrested for domestic assault, though charges were dropped when his wife didn't press charges. In 2007, Patterson failed to update his sex offender registration, leading to another fine. Then, in 2010, he was caught driving under the influence, and in 2019, he surrendered to authorities for owing over $100,000 in unpaid child support. Despite a promising NBA career, Ruben Patterson is now better known for his long list of legal problems and poor decisions. Glenn "Big Baby" Davis, from champion to convicted fraudster. Glenn Davis once stood at the top of the basketball world, winning an NBA championship with the Boston Celtics in 2008. But after his time in the league, his life took a much darker path. In February 2018, trouble started when hotel staff at a Hampton Inn in Maryland reported the smell of marijuana coming from his room. Police entered and discovered 120 grams of weed, almost $100,000 in cash, plastic baggies, and a ledger. Clear signs that Davis might have been selling drugs. He was hit with 7 drug-related charges. But instead of facing jail time, Davis paid a $15,000 fine, and the case was dropped. That incident was just the beginning. In 2021, Davis's name popped up again, this time in a massive healthcare fraud case involving fake insurance claims. He submitted fake bills for dental work in Beverly Hills, but GPS data proved he was in Las Vegas and Paris at the time. The lie didn't hold up. In 2023, a jury found him guilty of healthcare fraud, wire fraud, and conspiracy. Then, in May 2024, the punishment came: 40 months in federal prison. He was also ordered to pay $80,000 in restitution, take financial responsibility classes, and go through drug treatment. Oddly, the court let him delay prison by 7 weeks so he could finish filming a documentary about his life. He claimed the project could help him pay off what he owed. From NBA champion to convicted felon, Davis's downfall shows how poor choices can erase even the brightest success stories. Rasheed Bird, a tragic and violent fall. Rasheed Bird wasn't a household name in the NBA. He played just 22 games for the Los Angeles Defenders during the 2008-2009 season, but his name would later be tied to something far more disturbing. In March 2024, Bird was sentenced to 90 years to life in prison after being found guilty of a series of violent sexual assaults across California, spanning from 2015 to 2020. These weren't his first offenses. In 2005, he was arrested for sexually assaulting a woman in Washington, and in 2010, he was convicted again for a separate attack. Authorities said Bird had a pattern. He'd present himself as a friendly athlete or actor, earning victims' trust before turning violent. Detective Dara Brown explained that while Bird could come across as charming at first, his behavior would quickly become threatening. His final arrest came in 2020 after a woman reported him for rape. By then, he was facing multiple charges, and his bail was set at over $4 million. Bird's crimes completely overshadowed whatever promise he had in basketball or acting. The LAPD praised the bravery of the women who came forward and encouraged any other victims to speak out. Kermit Washington, a charity scam disguised as kindness. Kermit Washington was once known as an NBA All-Star, but his legacy took a dark turn after retirement. He started a charity called the Sixth Man Foundation, also known as Project Contact Africa, which claimed to help African families and children suffering from HIV. However, instead of using the donations for good, Washington spent the money on personal luxuries, vacations, shopping, and even plastic surgery for his girlfriend. He partnered with attorney Ronald Jack Mix to run a fake referral scheme, where Mix made donations to the charity in exchange for secret kickbacks. Washington didn't report any of this to the IRS. He also received $82,000 from another man, Reza Davachi, and used it for himself. To cover up the fraud, he committed identity theft and lied on his tax returns. In 2017, he pleaded guilty to multiple charges, including identity theft and filing false tax documents. The following year, he was sentenced to 6 years in prison and ordered to repay $970,000. Washington took something meant to help others and used it to serve himself, ultimately destroying his reputation and freedom. Reggie Harding, from first to fall. Reggie Harding made history as the first player drafted into the NBA straight out of high school, but his life quickly spiraled into tragedy. Born in Detroit in 1942, he was a high school basketball sensation and was drafted by the Pistons in 1962. However, legal troubles began early. He was arrested for stealing a truck at 17 and later faced a statutory rape charge, though he was acquitted. In another incident, singer Florence Ballard accused him of rape, but no charges were filed. He also got into a physical altercation with police over a parking ticket and received a record-setting $2,000 fine. After his NBA days, Harding continued down a dark path. He was arrested in 1969 for carrying a concealed weapon and served 2 years in prison. Then, in 1972, he was shot and killed by a friend during an argument. His life, filled with early potential, ended in violence and regret. Byron Houston, a life full of legal troubles. Byron Houston was once a promising college star who made it to the NBA, but his life after basketball took a troubling path. In 2001 and 2003, he pleaded guilty to indecent exposure, and by 2003, he faced 4 more charges and was required to register as a sex offender. In 2007, he was arrested again after a woman reported seeing him exposing himself at a busy intersection. Police found him undressed from the waist down in his car. This violated his probation, and he was sentenced to 4 years in prison. His lawyer explained that Houston suffered from bipolar disorder and post-traumatic stress due to a difficult childhood, but the judge believed he had been given enough chances. In 2006, he was removed from a youth basketball camp when it was discovered he was a registered sex offender, even though his probation had ended. Then, in 2011, he was arrested for animal cruelty, though the details weren't made public. While Houston's mental health struggles were serious, his long record of offenses left a dark mark on his legacy. Steve Francis, the franchise who lost his way. Steve Francis, once known as the franchise and a fan favorite for the Houston Rockets, faced serious struggles after his NBA career ended. In 2016, he entered an unlocked BMW and stole items worth over $7,000, including a ring and wallet. Shockingly, he later walked into a police station and confessed, but since no one had reported the theft yet, police let him go. Later that year, he was pulled over in Houston while drunk, with marijuana and an open liquor bottle in the car. He also threatened an officer and was charged with DWI, drug possession, and retaliation. In December, he turned himself in for the theft and, by March 2017, received a plea deal with no jail time, just community service and a fine. But trouble continued. In 2018, he was arrested again for public intoxication at a hotel bar. Eventually, Francis admitted that alcohol had destroyed both his life and career. Robert Whaley. From the NBA to a jail cell. Robert Whaley played briefly in the NBA with the Utah Jazz, but after basketball, his life was full of crime. In 2008, he was convicted in Michigan for running a drug house. He was sentenced to probation, but he broke the rules and became a fugitive. In 2010, police caught him in Utah. During booking, they found marijuana on him. He was sent back to Michigan and served 2 years in prison. In 2015, he broke into a Marriott hotel in Utah and got arrested. In 2016, he was sentenced to 60 days in jail for burglary. His story is simple. Crime after crime, with no signs of turning his life around. Antoine Walker, a champion who lost it all. Antoine Walker was an NBA All-Star and won a championship with the Miami Heat. He made over $108 million during his career, but after retirement he lost it all. In 2009, he was charged with 3 felonies for writing bad checks to pay gambling debts. He owed over $800,000 to Las Vegas casinos. In 2010, he filed for bankruptcy. He had $12.7 million in debt and only $4.3 million in assets. Even his championship ring had to be sold for $21,000. Walker later admitted he spent $1 million in 6 weeks. He blamed gambling, poor choices, and failed real estate deals. But he didn't give up. He started working with Morgan Stanley and now helps young athletes manage their money. His story is about falling hard, but also trying to help others not make the same mistakes. Tate George. From buzzer beater to prison cell. Tate George was a college basketball hero. He hit a famous buzzer beater at UConn. After a short NBA career, he started a real estate company called the George Group. He claimed his company managed $500 million in assets. It was a lie. From 2005 to 2011, he ran a Ponzi scheme. He took money from new investors to pay old ones and used the rest for himself. He bought home upgrades, threw a big party for his daughter, and even made a vanity video project. In 2013, a jury convicted him of 4 counts of wire fraud. In 2016, he was sentenced to 9 years in prison and ordered to pay $2.55 million. He tried to appeal, but the court said no. His dream of being a rich businessman turned into a nightmare. Terrence Williams, the mastermind behind the scam. Terrence Williams was once a top NBA draft pick. In 2009, the New Jersey Nets picked him 11th overall. People thought he would be a strong player for years to come. But his basketball career didn't go as planned, and after leaving the NBA, things went downhill fast. Between 2017 and 2021, Williams came up with a plan to steal money from the NBA's health and welfare benefit plan. He wasn't just part of the scam, he led it. He made fake medical and dental papers. He told other former NBA players to use them too. He even brought in some doctors and dentists to help fake the paperwork. In total, the scam claimed over $5 million in fake medical costs. Players ended up getting about $2.5 million of that money. Williams himself got more than $650,000. He also took over $300,000 in kickbacks, money those other players gave him for helping them with the scam. When the police started asking questions, Williams panicked. He tried to hide the truth. He pretended to be someone from the NBA health plan and called players to tell them not to talk. But in August 2022, he gave up. He pleaded guilty. In court, he said he was stupid and greedy. He said he had 6 kids and that his choices hurt them the most. But the judge wasn't moved by his words. She called him the leader of the operation. In August 2023, Williams was sentenced to 10 years in federal prison. He also had to give back over $650,000 and pay $2.5 million in restitution. His name is no longer remembered for flashy dunks or strong defense. Now, he's known as the man who ran one of the NBA's biggest scams. Keon Dooling, from player to prison. Keon Dooling played in the NBA for 13 years. He was known as a smart guard, a good teammate, and even worked as a vice president for the NBA Players Association. But none of that stopped him from getting caught up in the same scam as Terrence Williams. Dooling joined the healthcare fraud scheme. He submitted fake medical papers and took part in the plan to steal from the NBA's benefits program. He even helped bring in more players to join the scam. In April 2022, Dooling was arrested by federal agents. Just like Williams, he pleaded guilty. He was sentenced to 30 months in prison. The judge said it was sad to see someone with his leadership role choose to break the law. Dooling later admitted that he struggled with mental health problems, including PTSD from childhood abuse. He said that didn't excuse his actions, but helped explain how he ended up in such a dark place. He promised to rebuild his life after prison and help others stay out of trouble. But for now, his name is tied to one of the most embarrassing scandals in NBA history. Glenn Big Baby Davis, from champion to criminal. Glenn Davis won a championship in 2008 with the Boston Celtics. Fans loved his energy and toughness, but after leaving the NBA, he got involved in crime. And not just any crime, but the same healthcare scam led by Terrence Williams. Davis submitted fake claims and got back tens of thousands of dollars. He said he got dental work, but the dentist who supposedly did the work said it never happened. In total, Davis received about $200,000 in fake reimbursements. In August 2023, Davis was found guilty and sentenced to 40 months in prison. He had to give back the money and was placed on supervised release once his sentence ends. It was a hard fall for a former NBA champion. Davis had a big personality and was often smiling during interviews. But now, he's just another name on the long list of players who turned to crime. Other players involved in the healthcare scam, Davis, Dooling, and Williams, weren't the only ones involved in the NBA healthcare scam. In total, 18 former players were charged. Tony Roten submitted over $180,000 in fake claims and was sentenced to time served with supervised release. Sebastian Telfair, already known for past troubles, added to his problems by submitting fake dental claims. Shannon Brown, a former Laker known for his dunks, also pleaded guilty. Others like Ruben Patterson, Allen Anderson, and Darius Miles played roles ranging from submitting fake claims to organizing the scam. This wasn't just a few poor choices. It was a large, organized scheme involving many former athletes. Sadly, their legacies are now linked more to fraud than to their time on the court. These former NBA players once had fame and fortune, but life after basketball brought tough challenges. Some made poor choices, got into legal trouble, or turned to scams. A few even lost their careers before they began. Their stories show that fame fades, money runs out, but the choices you make will always stay with you.